How we doing, friends? I am Joe Craig, host of Reeling and Telling the Truth with Our Point of View. I got a good little subject today. We're talking about the different type of biases that's going on in the schools. And you parents, some of you parents, don't even know it's going on. Do you send your kids to preschool just for them to be babysit, just watching the kid? I probably ain't got to pay for it, but I'm dropping them off and hope they're in good care. But then we progress. Are we moving toward middle school and high school? Well, they come to school just to socialize, wear the name brand sneakers, catch up on all the social gossip, meet their friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, other friends, however you want to say it. But where the rubber meets the road is in middle school. Basically, let me just change that. It starts in pre-K. But by the time you get out of middle school, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it.
It's a topic striking right at the heart of Americans right now. We're talking about racial bias. And now today, a startling new study is out, and it finds that this can start as early as preschool.
Today, federal and state officials are reviewing this research just done by Yale University. One local psychologist says the research can do more harm than good. Here's our Serena Fazan.
Kendall Williams starts preschool in just weeks, but his dad's excitement for his son's next milestone is now dimmed.
It's very troubling, that's why I think parents should be more involved into preschool and do your research on what preschool your children want to go to.
Arthur Williams.
Folks, you should invest in your little bitty 3, 4, 5, whatever years they are going to pre-K. They don't know when somebody hurting them. They don't know when they get mistreated. It's up to you, the parent, to shepherd their pre-K experience, because that's what you're supposed to do. We talking about biases. They start as early as these little babies start school.
50,000 children were suspended at least once in 2016. And here's the shocking part. Those are just the preschoolers, the 3- and 4-year-olds. Boys make up more than 80% of the suspensions and expulsions in preschool. And according to the Department of Education, throughout their school careers, black students are almost 4 times as likely to be suspended than white students. Research shows that being suspended or expelled affects social and emotional development, academic performance, and life trajectories. Zero-tolerance policies were supposed to make schools safer and discipline more fair, but critics say that didn't happen. I recently sat down with Cami Anderson to talk about this. She's a former head of the Newark Public Schools and now runs the Discipline Revolution Project. What exactly is at issue here?
Yeah, I think know 2 things. One is we have serious adult bias at play, not just for Black and Latino students, but also for students with disabilities. It's important to remember that these biases around discipline are about race and other things. That's number 1. And number 2, we know what works in terms of supporting healthy development, holding kids accountable in ways that help them learn.
Are problem kids?
Well, just in the last year, we had 2 pretty rigorous studies come out, one showing that Black boys receive about triple the amount of negative attention as their peers, often for the exact same behaviors. And we saw a study of Black girls where adults labeled them less innocent than their peers. So
I'm going to stop this lady right there. And let me tell you something right quick. I could have had some Black people on a lot, authoritative, know they stuff, PhD level. But I wanted to hear it from the non-Black folks. And they just happen to be Caucasian white women who are saying essentially the same thing. That Black boys and Black girls in pre-K, I saw it in high school a lot, and I've definitely seen it over my term. That's all I'll say on that matter. But here's the real point. I've seen, and I gotta say it, I've seen black kids get punitive discipline for nothing. Like, I understand there is nobody that's perfect. That same teacher in the classroom that's unprepared with the lesson plans, come to work late, don't even dress appropriately, classroom look like you know what. What does that say about their relationship with the kids? What does that say? I've had some serious situations where I ain't write a kid up. A kid might have used a cuss word, shit, damn. I'm like, Johnny, Susie, what in the heck are you doing? Don't do that no more. Now, if you keep doing it, we got some problems. What? Mr. Craig, you're not going to write me up? No, I'm not going to write you up. Just get on back over and do some work. See you later. That built the trust. But let me go another route. Check this out. It ain't just me saying it.
Every day, parents send their children off to school with the hope that they're getting the best education. Tonight, we begin a series on the hidden bias of good people. Two Works for You's Vincent Hill shows us the hidden bias in Green Country classrooms.
Imagine being the brunt of a classroom joke by your teacher.
All of the kids in the classroom, they laughed, and I giggled too. He actually commented on the way that I spoke.
Now imagine being yourself around your classmates.
I spoke to my white peers as if I were speaking to my black cousins.
Then realizing the teacher's joke actually made fun of your culture.
He said, I bet you probably write exactly how.
I applaud him for being a teacher and a principal, but I also understand why he got out to make more money. You might make $100,000 or whatever principalship, but you got to spend your whole life there. But let me get back to my real story. I was getting my master's degree, and I didn't see it that much in my bachelor's degree because it were people like me trying to get that bachelor's degree. But as you move up the education level, you see less, in my opinion, I saw less of me trying to get to the top. Now, in my classes, was the only black spec soul, and nobody worked with me at all. They didn't even want to talk to me. They was from a different area than I was. They was from Johnson County. They was from wherever, but nobody wanted to work with me. And then I asked the question. I was like, okay, I stood up. I said, let me raise my hand in the auditorium. I was like, none of y'all folks want to work with me. There ain't that many jobs in the ritzy neighborhoods. So you're going to have to deal with people like me. And if you can't deal with me that I'm educated, we got a problem. And then one time, I had this white male instructor. He never would call on me, ever. But then he read one of my papers. He gave me 100 out of 100. Then I was his best friend. Oh, I guess because he saw I wasn't a stupid black guy.
Exactly what happened to Nehemiah Frank. It impeded his learning from that point on.
I hardly would raise my hand in class. I became very withdrawn.
Despite his teacher's not-so-funny joke, Frank went on to become a teacher himself and later a principal. But he says things like this happen in schools all the time. Good teachers with hidden bias.
It even happens if the teacher in the classroom is black. We all have implicit biases. We're all kind of shaped by the society that we live in.
Frank says hidden bias lead to more than mean-spirited jokes. It can mean fewer black kids in Green Country schools.
When it comes to African-American children, whether they're a male or female, they are more to be suspended.
We know there are disparities. You know, that's what gets the attention because that's what this is all about.
Melanie Poulter is with the Oklahoma Community Service Council.
African-American students are about 2.5 times as likely as white students to be suspended in Tulsa Public Schools.
Poulter monitors equality indicators for Tulsa Public Schools. In the 2018-19 school year, 1,308 black students were suspended compared to only 477 white students.
Not because African American students are exhibiting behaviors that merit suspensions at a greater level in general.
Poulter attributes it to one common denominator.
What some research has shown is that when there are higher levels of racial bias within a community, schools tend to exhibit greater levels of disparity in disciplining students of different races.
Frank says,
Oh, I'm going to stop right there because she is telling the truth. Just like I said earlier, back in the day, before 2020, 2018, 16, everybody was happy, or so I thought. And then since 2020, even them same teachers quit talking to me. They walked right past me, wouldn't even say a word. I was like, dang, again, that's how y'all treat me and I'm a grown up? So folks, this is what I'm gonna ask you to do. I'm gonna ask you, don't go to school and cuss. Go to school and find out what your child is doing. Listen to your child. Mainly, like the first guy said on this video, start early, 2, 3, 4 years old. Take some time out of your busy schedule to sit down with your nieces, your nephews. Sit down with them. And I'm going to leave you with this going out the door.
Hi, Mom, it's me. I got in trouble again at school today.
Hi, this is Miss Jones again. I'm finding your son very disruptive in class, more so than other students.
Other kids do bad things, but they don't get in trouble.
He's defiant and shows a real lack of respect for any structure or authority.
I hate school because the teachers are always mean to me and I don't feel like I'm learning anything.
I'm really concerned about his behavior.
I'm always getting in trouble for what I didn't do.
We're going to have to adopt a zero tolerance policy, young man.
School keeps calling my mother and she gets really, really mad at me.
What is going on? You'd better explain.
I feel like the whole world is just turned against me and doesn't like me anymore. There are days I get up and I just decide I'm not going to school.
And we go to the park, like everybody's always telling me I'm not worth anything, so what's the point of trying?
I know the cops are watching us, but we just hope we don't get caught.
Your son's absences are a problem. They will definitely affect his grade point average.
I don't feel safe in my class anymore.
Should I assume you're unprepared again today?
I would always eventually get picked on by the teacher. He makes examples of me.
I feel really singled out, and I just try to avoid people because every time I look, somebody's always talking about me. Oh, she's always getting in trouble.
But I started fighting more because nobody wants to hang out around a troublemaker. The only time I have real friends is when I'm on the block. So that's why I'll stay.
I'm going to stop right there, folks. We can end this curse by investing in our bitty kids, teaching them to read, teaching them to write, teaching them to be respectful. You can hit me up. I'm Reeling and Telling Our Truth on YouTube, or you can check me out on Facebook at Reeling and Telling Our Truth as well. I'm Joe Craig. Be blessed.